Today, more than 16,000 children died of famine in the world. To get the idea of what this terrible finding means, let's dissect it together. Today, Buddha says that if we want to know our past, we should look into our present. And similarly, if we want to know our future, we should look more closely into the present. If we apply this theory to the famine in the world, we should look into what is happening today or in the present. $16,000 children under the age of 5 die each day as a result of hunger. This result has been fairly constant for years. As in the past, there has been no urgency to diminish this number of children dying from hunger. Average rate of decline from year 2000 to 2008 has been 2.3% per year. On the top of this, there seems to be an increase in number of people suffering from hunger. In 2009, the population suffering from hunger should have increased from 910 million to over 1 billion. The complete lack of urgency to act upon this disastrous situation makes us believe that in the future, problem will be the same or worse. Children. It is important to remember that children are not just a statistic of one child dying every 5 seconds somewhere in the world. Those are our children, dying terrible deaths that can be prevented with relatively little effort from the rich Western countries. One idea that we had is percentage on food, or giving 1% of market price on food and drinks paid by customers in rich countries into a fund that would both be used as urgent help in areas affected by famine and on the other hand be directed into sustainable development. That means that it is not enough to feed the fishermen, starving people, but also to teach them how to fish, make sure they can take care of themselves in the future through sustainable development projects. Died. According to UNICEF, 1 million child deaths could be prevented annually at a cost of $1 billion per year, $1,000 per child per year. Compared to this, US military budget for the year 2010 is $685 billion. The total number of child deaths per year is about 6 million. Famine. Most child deaths, and 70% in developing countries, result from one of the following 5 causes or a combination thereof: malnutrition, acute respiratory infection, diarrhea, measles, or malaria. So even when malnutrition is not the primary cause, it so weakens the organism of a child that it dies from a disease that otherwise would not be mortal. In the world, approximately 200 million children under 5 years of age suffer from chronic or acute symptoms of malnutrition. The overwhelming majority of the undernourished, 95%, are in the developing countries. The fight against famine in the rich countries has many different aspects, and everyone should participate in their own way. There is financial aid to the NGOs who act directly in developing countries, but not only. For example, you can put pressure on your government to increase public spending on development with an accent on the food aid and sustainable development, or you can support our idea of food percentage by writing to your local supermarket chain and proposing to them to leave 1% off their total sales for the victims of the famine.